Do you know someone who flatly refuses to go to crowded parties like other people do and prefers to spend a quiet weekend at home? You invite such people to go out, whether it's for dinner, a party, or a weekend trip, and every time they say the same thing. I think I'm better off at home. Not because they're busy, not because they're sad. They simply prefer it. People often call them lazy, antisocial, or boring. But what if they're completely wrong? But as a psychology specialist, I can tell you, loving to stay home is rarely about avoiding life. It's often about understanding exactly what makes you feel good and choosing that on purpose. So why do some people genuinely love staying at home? And what does it say about them? Today, we're going to break down the real psychology behind people who genuinely love staying home, and why this habit is far healthier than most people assume. Before we start, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, I explain human behavior in simple, easy words. Let's get into it. Part 1. It's not always about avoiding people. The first assumption people make is that homebodies are avoiding others, maybe even afraid of them. Sometimes that's true. But for most people who love staying home, it's not about people at all. It's about energy. Being around others, even people they love, takes effort. Talking, listening, reacting, being on. For some people, that effort adds up fast. And staying home isn't rejection. It's recovery. This is one of the clearest differences between an introvert and someone who's simply shy. Shyness comes from fear. Loving home comes from knowing exactly what recharges you. Part 2. The brain loves predictability. Here's something most people don't think about. The brain finds comfort in the familiar. Your home has your smell, your sounds, your exact spot on the couch, your favorite mug. None of that requires effort to enjoy. There's no new environment to read, no unfamiliar faces to judge, no unexpected moments to react to. Psychologically, this reduces something called cognitive load, the mental energy your brain spends constantly processing your surroundings. Outside, your brain is always scanning new people, new noises, new decisions. At home, all of that switches off. Your mind finally gets to rest. For people who love staying home, this isn't boredom. It's relief. Part 3. They recharge differently than others. Some people feel energized after a party. Others feel emptied out. This comes down to how a person's nervous system responds to stimulation. For some, social settings, noise, lights, conversation, crowds genuinely drain their energy, even if they enjoy the event itself. Staying home gives their nervous system a chance to settle down. It's not about disliking the outside world. It's about needing quiet time to process everything before doing it again. Think of it like a phone battery. Going out uses battery. Home is the charger. Some people simply need more charging time than others, and there's nothing wrong with that. Part 4. Comfort isn't laziness, it's safety. We tend to link staying home with being lazy. But psychologically, comfort and laziness are not the same thing. Comfort is your brain and body telling you, this environment feels safe. And safety matters more than people realize. When you feel safe, you think more clearly, you relax fully, and you're more yourself than you are anywhere else. Many people who love staying home are actually incredibly productive there. Cooking, reading, working on personal projects, learning new skills. Their home isn't an escape from life. It's often where their real life happens. Part 5. They often have rich inner worlds. Here's something people rarely mention. Many homebodies have very active minds. They think deeply. They imagine, plan, reflect, and process their day quietly. Being alone doesn't feel empty to them. It feels full, just in a quieter way. While some people need outside stimulation to feel entertained, others already have enough going on inside their own heads. A quiet evening at home with a book, a show, or their own thoughts can feel just as fulfilling as a night out feels to someone else. This isn't a lack of imagination. It's often the opposite, an imagination rich enough that it doesn't need constant outside input. Part 6. Are they missing out on life? This is a fair question, and the answer is not necessarily. Loving home doesn't mean disliking connection. Many people who prefer staying in still have close friendships and meaningful relationships. They just prefer smaller, quieter versions of connection. One friend over for dinner instead of a crowded party. A long phone call instead of a loud event. Psychologically, quality of connection tends to matter more for well-being than quantity of outings. Someone who stays home most weekends but has 2 or 3 deep, honest relationships is often doing better emotionally than someone constantly out, but surrounded by people they don't really know well. Part 7. When staying home becomes a problem. Now, to be fair and balanced, loving home isn't automatically healthy in every case. There's a difference between choosing comfort and hiding from life. If someone stays home because leaving genuinely brings them peace, that's healthy. But if someone stays home because they're anxious, afraid, or avoiding people entirely, even people they care about, that's a different story. The simple test is this: does staying home add to your life, or does it start replacing parts of your life you actually want? Healthy homebodies still go out when it matters to them. Unhealthy avoidance quietly removes those choices altogether, out of fear rather than preference. If you ever notice this shifting from comfort into isolation, it's worth talking to someone you trust, or a mental health professional, about what's really going on underneath it. If this video is helping you understand yourself, or someone else in your life, a little better, please like it right now. This will help it reach more people, so someone else like you might gain that same understanding. Part 8. What we can learn from homebodies. We live in a culture that often treats being busy and always going out as signs of a full, exciting life. But that's not the only way to live well. People who love staying home remind us of something simple. Peace doesn't have to be loud. A good life doesn't need to be constantly documented, constantly social, or constantly out there to count. Sometimes, the fullest life is the one lived quietly, on your own terms, in the place that feels the most like you. So the next time someone tells you they'd rather stay home, don't assume they're being antisocial or missing out. They might simply know themselves well enough to choose what actually feels good. Comfort, quiet, and a little peace in a world that rarely slows down. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more simple, real psychology every week. And tell me in the comments, are you someone who loves staying home, or do you love going out? I read every comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.